If you've been arrested for a DUI in Seattle, in Linwood, anywhere in Washington state, you're probably afraid right now, afraid you might go to jail. You're probably frustrated because you don't know where to look and how you can find someone to help you. You want this to be over with, and you want your life to be back to normal as soon as possible. My name is Lance Fryrear, and I'm a defense attorney in Linwood, Washington. And I'm making this video today to try to give you some tips about how you find an attorney, the right one for you, to represent you in your DUI here in Washington state. So if you've been cited for a DUI, pulled over, stopped, arrested, the officer probably took you for a breath test, could have taken you for a blood draw, and you probably have some paperwork right now and you're not sure what to do with it. Well, take a look at your paperwork, see if they give you the request for a licensing hearing, and then it's time to start trying to find an attorney. So how do you find an attorney? Well, if you found this video, you're probably looking around, and here's the advice that I tell my friends if they get into some trouble or they're trying to find a professional. First of all, make an appointment. Make a couple of appointments with different people. You can look on websites and look for ratings. You can talk to family or friends, but you need to listen and see how the intake staff that you've called, does the law firm answer the phone? Do they get back to you right away? Because this is a clue about how it might be working with them in the future. And once you set your appointment, when you go in, I want you to pay attention to what questions the attorney or the staff there, they ask you. If you're talking to highly rated attorneys, most attorneys are going to have the skills necessary to do a good job with the case. Most of them will. But many attorneys don't have the skills to deal with you and to make sure that you're okay and that you're going to have your questions answered and you're not going to be anxious. So pay attention to the questions that they ask you. Do they ask you how you're doing? Do they ask you what your support system looks like? Do they ask you what you're afraid of that might happen, what you're frustrated about, and what your worst fears are and your best hopes? Those may not seem like they're important for a DUI defense, but a DUI defense is pretty technical. So those really are important for you as the client to make sure that you're doing okay. So number one, pay attention to the questions that they ask you. Number two, you can ask them about their experience. Are you certified in field sobriety testing? Have you taken the same classes as the police officers? Do you have experience in the court? Hey, quick, tell me who the prosecutor is in that court. Tell me who the judge is in that court. If the person you're talking to has those names readily available, then that's a good sign they've been there before and maybe know how to deal with the people involved in your case. You might also want to ask about the licensing side of things. Do you handle the driver's licensing hearing for me? Do you typically subpoena officers to those hearings? And you do want a law firm that subpoenas officers to those hearings. Even my law firm has been open for 20 years. The first few years that I was open, I didn't have the staff to do that. Now we do it all and have for a long time. And one more question. Hey, I took a breath test. Is there such a thing as a breath test room video? And if so, what do you do to secure that video? Just so you know, there typically, if there is a breath test, there's a video in those rooms, and it's really important that an attorney try to secure that evidence because it usually gets wasted, it gets erased. It's not something the prosecutor wants to secure because what happened in that breath test room may invalidate the breath test, and the only way we're going to know about that is if we have the video to watch it. And again, many firms don't do that. So those are a few tips about how to find an attorney. The other thing you might want to ask is about payment plans and do they need all their money up front? Usually you want to try to find someone flexible to work with you because there are a lot of expenses in a DUI defense. So if you have a DUI, you're in trouble and you're afraid or you just need help, please give us a call. Again, my name is Lance Fryrear. I'm the owner of the law offices of Lance Fryrear. We're defending people charged in Linwood and all throughout Washington state for more than 20 years. We'll talk to you about what happened. We'll try to set you in the right direction. If you want, we'll set up an appointment with you and we'll do everything we can to help. We'll be there for you. Thank you.